Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's pharmacy near you.
Good morning and welcome to the programme. A packed show today, a lot coming up. It's Feel Good Friday. We've got a special mention this morning, firstly to Bowes under 14B squad last night, winning the first schoolboy league title for the club in a few years. Best of luck to all the young boys and girls and soccer teams over the weekend with cup fixtures, anybody involved in athletics and everybody involved in sports. Lots of GA matches on. Fundraisers such as the car wash at Gold here for under 14 Fela boys all day tomorrow. We'll be talking about A Man Called Brick in a while. Also, we want to hear your views on what makes a successful marriage. Some people say marriage is not for wimps. We have also a special Champions League preview night, talking to Spurs and Liverpool fans from the Reg the other night. Thanks very much to Neil Goff and Adam Wise, especially Adam, for making the night happen. We'll be talking to Grace O'Sullivan here live in studio. A big shout out to Edward Mullen. I met him yesterday. He was laughing with his dad, John, saying the word absolutely. I got from them, I must be saying it a bit too much on air, absolutely. So I'm absolutely going to continue saying absolutely for absolutely the rest of the programme. So we want to hear your views. Text me your words that you say too much or annoying words that people say. 083 333 975. And we also have on our Facebook page all the list of places that didn't receive the mayoral booklet. And it is astonishing. We are sending that on to the council. We compiled a list of all the people that texted and rang us in yesterday. Audrey's waiting for your call on 051 846 123. A great reaction to her interview with Shawnee Kiley from Unrine yesterday. Big shout out to his mum who met Gavin Whelan yesterday in Mossy. Joyce is getting meat for the dinner in Dungarvan. Hello to everybody in Mossy's. Good reaction to interview with Liam Cahill on his book Forgotten Revolution. His book is now on sale in the book centre. Special shout out to the Waterford City River Rescue. They've officially launched their new lifeboat appeal. And lovely texts all week regarding our election coverage. Morris Barron got in touch from New York saying it's fantastic. He saw our video showing the joy on his father's Ger Barron's face on getting back in. And we are talking about anniversaries. Hello to all the friends in 2FM, stations 40 today. And remember this, Monty Python, The Life of Brian, is 40.
He has a wife, you know. You know what she's called? She's called Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks. Done! What is all this? I've had enough of this rowdy, wabble, sniggering behaviour. Silence!
Mick Wallace, ciao, buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Come va?
Bene.
Meraviglioso. You okay now? You are? You've had the porridge?
I'm actually... I went for an allergy test about 20 years ago, and I discovered I was tested for 100 different items, and the only thing that I'm allergic to is oats, so I can't eat porridge. No.
It's great to talk to you, Mick Wallace, newly elected MEP for Ireland South. How do you feel?
Well, strictly speaking, I'm not elected yet because
that's true.
We have to wait for the dispersion of the votes of the candidates who finishes sixth. To see who actually gets the Brexit seat. So I think it could happen yet, and the Brexit seat might never materialise. You just don't know.
And in terms of those transfers and all the permutations that are there and all the crack that's going on regarding this, do you think Grace is going to be able to secure, do you think 327, whatever votes it is enough to see her home? Yeah,
I think the position between Grace and Leah won't change, and then I think when Leah's votes are dispersed, I actually think Grace will finish fourth, and I think Deirdre Clune will be pushed back into the Brexit seat.
How did you get such a big vote? That seems such a silly and yet such a simple question. What would you sum it up with, Deputy Wallace?
Well, I suppose what I got, and I mean, I didn't go door to door. There was 990,000 plus houses in Ireland South across the 12 counties. I went on the streets of every town in the 12 counties over a month. And what I got from the people that I met so often was that they liked what I did in the Dáil for the over 8 years, that I talked straight, that I was one of them, and that I didn't play games, and that they respected that. So I felt the impression I got was that it was the reward for the work I did over the 8 years. That was my general impression.
Would you still describe yourself as an anti-establishment person, or are you firmly part of the establishment?
I'm firmly not part of it. I have huge problems with how the system works. I don't find society fairly organised. I don't think Irish governments for the last 30 years have done a good job of running this country. This is a good country, but it could be so much better for everybody and not just for the few. I think Europe has the same challenges. Brussels has been taken over, in my opinion, when it comes to decision making by large business and big corporations, at the expense of the ordinary people, at the expense of the smaller farmers, fishermen, small business. The system has got more unfair in the last 30 years with the advance of what is better known as neoliberalism. And neoliberalism is it's a philosophy which prioritises the best interest of big business and large corporations at the expense of the people.
Do you think you will be able to make a difference in Europe again? That sounds like a rhetorical question, but you wouldn't have gone there or gone for the seat if you didn't think so. Or what difference can you make?
I mean, people... that's been said to me a lot, and I can't guarantee I'm going to make a difference, but I can tell you one thing, it won't be for the want of trying. I so much want things to be different, and I am not afraid of hard work, and some Irish politicians have gone to Brussels to retire. I'm going there to try my living best to make a difference, and by God, I'll do that.
Do you think there will be certain people, a lot of people in the establishment in Ireland, that will be delighted to see the back of you?
I'd say there were people in Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and Labour that voted to get rid of me, yeah.
They voted for you to get rid of you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, but myself and Claire Daly will try to attain an impact in Dublin as well, in the Dáil. We are allowed to attend any committee that is dealing with legislation that has a connection to Europe, and over 70% of it now does have a connection with Europe. That's where most of our legislation starts now, and we're being reduced to a position where our government of the day is literally rubber stamping legislation that commences in Europe. So if they think that we're going away, they might find things very different, because we have every intention of keeping our foot on their neck in Dublin as well.
How much money are you going to be making over the next few years?
Haven't a clue, but I can tell you... You haven't
a clue?
I hear the Dáil, the wages is similar to the Dáil. The expenses are better because you're travelling away from home. But if I wanted to make money, I'd go back building. I'd make more in a month in building than I'd make in Brussels.
Come on, Deputy Wallace. Now, come on.
I have the record to prove it. Just because I lost it all to a banking crisis doesn't mean I can't make it again. I would actually build my business quicker the next time because I know how.
Well, I was going to say maybe you'd better stay out of the building for a while now.
Listen, I was in building all my life, and I never lost money on a job in my life until a banking crisis that I wasn't part of. Yes.
Tell me, on a serious note, do you think the salaries for MEPs are they commensurate with the work you'll be doing? Do you think they're overstated? Are you going to take all the money and all the expenses?
I'd be foolish. Wouldn't I be better off taking it? And if I have any surplus, I'll give it to the West Produce.
Absolutely, you could do with a few players there. Although there's a good striker from Carrick there with you for the last few months, Mr. Doherty. He's a good player, absolutely, and a great lad.
Very good.
On a serious note, this money that's going to be spent doing this recount, and it's going to take maybe 28 days. That's absolutely ridiculous, is it?
Because it's part of the PR process, and
but the cost, and maybe why should it take so long? Like, could they not bring in loads of other council officials and basically get it done in 3 or 4 days?
I don't think it'll take as long. I think the government will do something to make sure it doesn't take so long, because it's going to look bad in Europe if the seats haven't all been filled by a certain time, and I think that will change. I think it will happen quicker. But listen, I'd be very confident that it will be that the figures won't change much. But at the same time, Sinn Féin are entitled to try it, and
absolutely,
it's not their fault that it's costing $1 million.
And speaking of change, is Mick Wallace going to change in the nice restaurants of Brussels and Strasbourg and the nice red wines and all those things that come with this job?
Mick Wallace was always fond of good food, good wine, and that won't change.
Deputy Wallace, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
No problem. Good luck.
Grace O'Sullivan, Mick Wallace there.
That's right.
What do you think?
Oh, I'm delighted for Mick.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely delighted for him. He came into the race late, but I mean, I've just listened to him there. He's very coherent as to what he is hoping to achieve. I think it's good for the South East. I just was concerned. He did talk about Dublin and Claire Daly, and I know Claire Daly is a formidable TD, and I think she's the leader in that grouping, and I think I've great hopes for Claire Daly in Europe, being a woman as well. But he didn't mention Ireland South, and that gave me some degree of concern, because my whole emphasis is, and has been through the whole campaign, is building a network in Ireland South, county by county.
He didn't mention taxes as well, that he may have owed people, talking about the bankruptcy that he had faced, and also with the extra money he'll be able to buy himself a new shirt going to Brussels. So you've got that light-hearted stuff mixed in with the very serious thing, because Mick Wallace again is a bit like Marmite. You either like him or you don't.
Yeah. I suppose Mick is a brand. He wears a uniform, very specific, pinker with the combat jeans or the pants. He wore green just during the week, which we joked about. I asked him, was he thinking of moving over to the green side? But, he is anti-establishment, and that has been very good to him in this election. I think the interesting thing as well is to look at the transfers. Mick got transfers from very far right candidates and left and centre, so it is an interesting appeal that he has to to the voters. And
people talk about populism, and we're going to talk about that in a brief second. More of your texts and comments coming in. 083 333 975, text or WhatsApp. Stay with us. We're going to have the latest and Grace's views about this massive amount of money that's going to be spent on the recount and how long it's going to take. A lot of people, animated people, texting in saying this is ridiculous, the idea of 28 days. Talking about that now in a second.
WhatsApp Damien now on 083 333 975. Déise today on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. Make life easy. Pull into Ireland's only drive-through pharmacy at Mulligan's Arkeen.
I made no promises. I can't do golden rings, but I'll give you everything.
Déise today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's pharmacy near you.
Now, welcome back to the programme. I'm joined by Grace O'Sullivan, Green Party, and due to be elected MEP. Again, we say that with a great trepidation in some respect, Grace. And we'll talk briefly now in a minute about the counts. Firstly, listening to Mick Wallace there and where he will be aligned in Europe, we don't yet know what group he's going to be in and what difference somebody can make in Europe. If and when things work out regarding the recount, we'll get you back on to talk about that specifically. Our listeners have been listening to you during the week on the updates regarding the situation. Can you tell me your thoughts on the recount as it's now going to be? There was a recheck yesterday, and will there be any issues coming up over the weekend, legal advice or otherwise, that might sort of determine how things are going to work out from Tuesday on?
Yeah, well, I know when we were coming to that critical juncture as to whether Leonie Riadas would be ahead or whether O'Sullivan would be ahead, like both parties, so the Sinn Féin party and the Green Party, both were seeking legal advice as to what to do if the margin was so tight. It was actually just wider than we had hoped, which, it could have been 20 votes, Damien. That would have been absolutely crucifying. So at least there was a bigger margin. But I know in our case we were looking at it from the two processes. So you had the long recount or a recheck. So we would have I would have suggested that we look at a recheck, and based on the patterns of the recheck, we'd consider it further.
Because there's a difference. Some people may not know. There's a difference between a recheck and a recount.
Right. So the recheck happened yesterday. And that was where the ballot papers of O'Sullivan were assessed and the ballot papers of Nerea were assessed. And through that, they found that there was a one vote
out of 250,000. Yeah, so, 750,000. Yeah.
So now I suspect that Sinn Féin will really be giving this huge consideration over the weekend, as every single party in the country will be doing, including the Taoiseach, because we are now aware that there is the 28-day period is 28 working days. So this will bring us right up into July. We know there's an issue in terms of the count staff, the location, and the cost. Who bears that cost? Is it the taxpayers? And then, they're putting a 1 million, which I think will actually increase.
Why? That's basically to hire in staff to count these things.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds, and people are texting in,
yes.
The anger that's out there.
Yeah.
Down at Tramore last night at a soccer match, and people straight away saying, this is ridiculous. And also, why can't you get people in? Draft in council officials and workers from Waterford, from Wexford, whatever. Yeah. Bring them all in for 2 or 3 days, get the thing done and get it. But it's like building the road to Cork. It takes around 10 years to do it.
No, I mean, this has to be done. This is like a process that has to be done with such due diligence. And the counters, I mean, they are all people who have been assessed.
Absolutely, but nobody. But do you think this idea of, what do you think of this idea of 28 days? Do you think that's ridiculous?
I do. I mean, obviously for me, the sooner we get through it, the better. But what's happening now, Damien, is it takes a step further. That the European Parliament will meet on the 2nd of July.
Yeah, this is very important.
Now we know that potentially that the Parliament, if the Ireland South MEPs are not elected, that the whole Parliament may have to stop. Now you're talking about the whole of the European Parliament.
Why would it have to stop?
Because the MEP candidates need to be elected before the new term of 5 years will proceed.
So all the MEP candidates across Europe have to be formally elected before the Parliament can start again.
That's my understanding at the moment.
That's part of probably the Constitution or the standing orders. Yeah,
precisely. Could be much, much greater. So I would imagine that, obviously Sinn Féin have their full right to have this conducted. So obviously the state will need to look at it now if there's implications for the European Parliament. Because again, Damien, we have a reputation here. Ireland. I mean, we are expected to have our MEPs elected just as every other of the countries, including Britain, have elected their members for the European Parliament, regardless of Brexit at this stage. So if we don't have our members elected for Ireland South properly, I'm fully ready to go to work on the 2nd of July, then it could delay the whole the start-up of the new term. So I think this is the conversations that are happening and the thinking at the moment. And I mean, I do want to say, I mean, we are at a point, and I can understand if I was Leah Nerea that, I would be considering very deeply what I would want to do personally, because she is the candidate. So she has her party, Sinn Féin, but she is the candidate. So ultimately it comes down to her decision as to how far she wants to proceed with this,
You seem to be edging towards an appeal to Leah Nerea to not go with the full recount.
I suppose there's 2 points. One, I would expect that Sinn Féin will now be looking at the entire situation. and that they will look at the recheck which happened, to look at that one vote, whether they can make up the ground. And then the other is in terms of the state and the returning officer, Martin Harvey in Cork, and whether, given the potential consequences of this, that the state would move, exactly as you said, move staff. So make people available. So this can literally happen over a very short period of time. So I assume that they're looking at the location now. So they have to identify that, because Nemo Rangers, the GAA centre, is where we've been for the last number of days. The availability of that, and then I would think the state is going to have to intervene here now in terms of speeding up the process. So even though the returning officer at the time said 28 working days, because he was looking at it from, a recruitment perspective and that probably. But now if that it could do reputational damage to the whole of Ireland, then
would you make
have to move.
Would you make a personal appeal to Leah?
I would make an appeal to the state, probably more so.
Okay.
To speed it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you tired?
I'm tired. It's been incredible. Like Damien, we went from B&B to B&B because I brought my girls down, and we had a team of supporters from Waterford who came down with me.
We booked in for a certain amount of nights.
We only booked in, so we were moving around in that. And I am...
Who pays for all that? Is that the Green Party pays for that?
No, I mean, I'm so lucky. I have people who support me here in Waterford and who will cover their own costs.
Yeah.
And then...
Because it's an expensive thing being down at those things, yeah.
It was. And time away from...
family and work and all different things.
So I'm tired. I feel like I'm in part of the eye of the storm. Leah Nereida and Grace O'Sullivan are in this situation. So it's going to be I call it the long weekend. So normally the long weekend for me is down at T-Bay. I'll be coaching on Sunday, it's surfing, and it's a great long weekend, and this I think will be long in terms of the process. What's going to happen on Tuesday morning? How is this going to proceed? So it's not only long for myself personally, but it'll be long for Leah Nereida, and she's in a position now where she's fighting. And
obviously this has been looked on and followed very closely by everybody in Europe in terms of those that have the decision-making powers in the European Parliament, because the implications, as you said, are very, very large if things don't develop the way they should do.
And Damien, can I just say, I nearly had 76,000 first preference votes, so I've become very stoic in my own position. I know people gave me the first preference to get me into Europe to do, what I've been doing for the last 37 years. So I'm fighting very hard and fast, and I hope I will not be moved from this position.
Good luck with the surf training on
Sunday, the coaching down in T-Bay.
I hope it's good.
Yeah,
enjoy
thank you very much.
And relax for the weekend. We'll talk to you next week. Grace O'Sullivan, thank you very much. Back with 12 ways to keep your marriage alive.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. Join Mulligan's Blue Club today and get points every time you shop in-store or online at mulliganspharmacy.com.
I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's pharmacy near you.
Welcome back to the programme. We will be talking to Bernadette Ryan in a second. She's on the line waiting for us now. A relationship counsellor talking about marriage. It's not for wimps. 12 things that marriage is and 12 things that it isn't. What's the successful ingredients for a happy marriage? Maybe it's to send your husband or your boyfriend or your fiancé away on a trip over to Madrid. Just got some texts in there now from different people. Ma Welch has said, I'm driving from Barcelona to Madrid with my son Mark, listening to WLR. Come on, you Spurs. And a big hello to Ma and everybody that's over there in Spain at the minute, heading over there to the match. We will hear all about that in the second half of the show. Derek says, crazy money to count votes. Let Sinn Féin have a recount but pay for it. Money needed elsewhere, housing, roads, etc. Wallace couldn't... Mick Wallace, Ming Flanagan and Deputy Daly going to Europe. Surely we did not send Dustin as well. We cannot be accused of having a sense of humour. And that is from Paddy. Ned has texted in to say, Damien, interesting we talk about the expense for a recount. We're still paying millions in tribunal costs. What sold me on Mick, says Marion in the City, was how he put Miriam O'Callaghan in her place. Well done, Mick Wallace. People saying with all the extra money Mick Wallace will be able to pay now, and he will be tax compliant, he'll be able to buy himself a shirt going to Brussels. Brian says it's disgraceful, the recount in Ireland South. He says it's a bit more ironic that Sinn Féin are determined to get their seat in Europe, yet they're perfectly happy to abstain in the North. Ooh, that's a tough one, Brian. Now we've got Bernadette. Good morning, Bernadette.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
Very good, thank you, very good. Bernadette, a really interesting topic. When people do get married, you always hear them looking for advice from those that are married, like what's the successful ingredients for a happy marriage? How do you keep it going? Tell us. Give us the secret.
Well, I think the first thing, this time of the year, the weddings are in the air and people are getting married and all that sort of thing. And the first thing I think when a young couple are thinking of getting married is to differentiate between the wedding and marriage. So sometimes all of the focus can go on the wedding and it's lovely to have a big celebration and all of that sort of thing. But a wedding is a day, or in these days it's a weekend. A marriage is for the long haul, okay? So marriages can be hard work. But that hard work has a great payoff, and this needs to be underpinned by basic principles. Really, it's quite, as they say, it's quite easy, but it's quite simple, but it's not easy. Kindness, respect, loyalty, and love are the key ingredients for baking for a happy marriage. It's not about being two peas in a pod. It's not about, marriage is not going to complete you. Marriage is not going to make you feel whole. But what it can do is enhance that sense of completeness for the two people involved. Good marriages are about where both have the space to grow as individuals as well as a couple.
Yeah.
So looking after, yeah.
And do you think, like you've said, that marriage is not for the weak, it's hard work. Marriage is not about getting what you want all the time. It's not rocket science. It's not unfashionable. So marriage is still very, very fashionable. I remember seeing a guy on the Parkinson's show years ago, an actor, Gielgud, and he was talking about the successful of 55 years of marriage, and he said he tries to be a little bit romantic every day.
Oh, that sounds really good. Yes. John Gottman in the States as well talks about, he's done a lot of research on marriage over the last 40 years. And he talks about building the sound emotional bank, that every day doing something positive. And the ratio is actually 5 to 1, 5 positive things to 1 negative, whereas unhappy couples tend to have 5 negatives to 1 positive. So he says if you work at that when times do get hard, and they will, marriage is not about being conflict-free. In fact, couples that don't bother arguing, I sometimes worry about, because where is their passion for the relationship? Where is their energy? But if you build the sound relationship bank or the sound relationship house, when times do get hard, it's kind of like payoff. You've got that in the bank. So things tend not to get so destructive, It's not, as I said, about conflict-free, but it's very much about how couples argue. All couples argue, but and again, Gottman in the States has done research. He says long-term happily married couples will say that 65%, that's 65% of their problems never get resolved. But the difference between them and unhappy couples is they learn to give and take. They learn what's their bottom line, and there's a lot of flexibility and compromise.
Yeah.
Whereas unhappy couples argue about everything.
Yeah, and like one of the things you mentioned, point 8, marriage is not a place for criticism. A friend of mine, Dominic Welch, years ago I said to him, what's the secret of a happy marriage? And he said 2 simple things that he learned was never to argue when you're drunk and never compare families.
Right. Yes.
They're not bad little bits of advice, because you can say stuff if you're slightly inebriated, and comparing families is that's a real dangerous one, isn't it?
It is actually, because a lot of the work that sometimes I would do with couples whose marriages and relationships might be in trouble is looking at their family of origin and the patterns that evolved from there. And, they weren't in each other's family. They didn't have that experience. So, I can criticise my family, but if you get in there, that might not be too helpful. So I think that's a good piece of advice. The other thing that Gottman talks about, the marriage wreckers, are what he calls the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And that's criticism, defensiveness, contempt, which is really, really damaging, and stonewalling, which is cutting the partner out. And a lot of men tend to stonewall because, strangely enough, men really don't like conflict. They get very stressed in it. Their heart rate goes up and their blood pressure goes up. Again, Gottman has done all sorts of live tests on people when they're arguing. And men they need to get away from the argument, but they do it in a very unhealthy way because they shut down. Instead of, that can change into a more taking time out to reflect and then coming back,
Yeah.
So, but if the 4 horsemen are there all the time, Gottman says the marriage is dead.
And then we have, Maria has just texted, give and take, Damien, I'm married 42 years and got married very young. There's always ups and downs, but you have to work at them. Never go to sleep on an argument is an old saying, and it holds true for her. And then you also have the other thing, Bernadette, about like same-sex marriages. Has there been any research done on whether same-sex couples are more happily married than mixed-sex couples?
I, off the top of my head, I don't know, Damien, but I would imagine they have the same difficulties. I mean, I work a lot with same-sex couples, and communication, lack of responsiveness to each other, tend to be similar difficulties that go through all marriages and relationships. Again, a thing that I would suggest to all couples is when you argue, most couples go for win-lose. I win, you lose. Everyone's unhappy. Even the one who wins feels like it's a hollow victory. So, and oftentimes too, the arguments can go on for so long that it's lose-lose. Everybody feels like they're losing and nobody's getting anywhere. So really working towards a win-win,
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree never go to bed on an argument or whatever, because sometimes people need time to ground themselves, to calm down. Like when high emotions are running and anger and frustration and hurt, nobody's actually listening. And one of the key things, I'd say, the key thing is to listen, to really listen, to try and understand what is my husband or wife or partner trying to tell me. Because underneath a lot of that criticism and all of that stuff is really the desire to change things, but it comes out wrong. And it's usually like, criticism usually leads off with, you always, or you never, and you're always the same. So the other person has no option but to defend themselves. Like, it's almost like their character has been attacked,
Yeah.
So I encourage couples to come from the I. I'm really upset at the moment. I need to talk.
Absolutely.
That's not attacking anybody,
Bernadette Ryan, thank you so much as ever. Really appreciate it, because we get a great response to these issues, because it's like people just have so many views about it and advice. And listen, we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Bernadette, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Lovely talking to you. Now, a texter in, morning Damien, myself and my other half don't argue. We just don't talk to each other. Plenty of picture, no sound. It's the successful ingredient for a happy marriage. My neighbour said never go to bed on an argument. So we don't do that. I normally sleep on the sofa. Some good ones coming in there. Some other text in. We had a text in a while ago from David, and it was regarding the Greens. Damien, great crack in the Reg the other night. I know it's a bit off topic, but you could find out if the Waterford Greens have any upcoming events and how anybody can get involved. I'm sorry, David, I'm not sure about that. I'm sure the Green Party website will have some stuff like that. Mary texted in, I live in Ardnagrena. We never got a mayor electoral booklet either. Damien, can I wish the Waterford under 13 schoolgirls who travelled to University of Limerick today for the Gaynor Cup tournament a special shout out. Absolutely, the very best of luck to you girls, and best wishes to Aidan Hennessy and Sully on the road to Madrid, up the mighty Reds. And what about Waterford hurling? Can please everybody, this texter, say in Waterford, get out and support the hurlers this weekend. Maybe the council can even turn the area around Welch Park into a sea of blue and white. Let our presence be known. Please, please, please go and support the hurlers on Sunday and make as much noise as possible. These men are amazing and deserve so much support. That is from one of our texters. We're going to be talking about that and the legend that is Brick.
Join the WLR conversation on Twitter using hashtag Déise Today.
With thanks to mulliganspharmacy.com.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's pharmacy near you.
Now, welcome back to the programme. Damien, regarding marriages, I find if you just calmly explain to your wife that she's overreacting and needs to calm down, she instantly realises you're right, and then you go and make a sandwich. There you go. Other people saying regarding the counting down in Cork, Mary says, why can't they get more people to come in and count and speed things up? That's something we have been dealing with, Mary. Got a lovely text in there from Gary, postman in Tramore. Special shout out to all the people travelling, Spurs fans. Up the Spurs. And he definitely thinks that they're going to win. World class hugs from Lono, for Lono and Posty and Horse O'Sullivan in Tramore from your favourite pal, Pucker the Postie. Gavin, there's some crack in some names there, isn't it, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. Certainly whetting the appetite ahead of tomorrow night, and what an occasion it's going to be, and looking forward to the next hour as well. I believe you had a great night in the Registrator night, and it was great to see the mixture of Liverpool and Spurs jerseys, and I know there's a particular mid-county establishment that is going to be packed to the rafters tomorrow night. I think I'm going to make that maybe my venue tomorrow night, because we're down there with the under-20 footballers playing Wexford at 5 o'clock, so it might be a nice start to the old evening. Liverpool and Spurs, great banter between two good sets of fans, and an intriguing battle in store. Very hard to call, should be a great game, Should be
a great game, absolutely, yeah. Now we're going to talk about the match at the weekend, Waterford versus Limerick, and just in general, I suppose, we're just talking about it there, there's a kind of a flatness, there's a kind of you don't see flags, you don't see cars with flags. This is Munster Championship, this is do or die, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very fair point. Like, where do you start? And before, when I was growing up, maybe 10, 11, that you'd be putting up the flags and the car flags and Munster Championship. I suppose back then it was knockout. It was maybe a bigger system, and I know it's something to Paddy Joe Ryan was chatting to him during the week, that maybe playing 4 out of 5 weekends. Is that appetite there? Sort of an apathy around the county since the opening 2 defeats as well. But this is our home venue. We're welcoming down the All-Ireland champions on Sunday. Like, you'd imagine people should be absolutely bursting to get into Welsh Park on Sunday. Even the ticket situation at the minute isn't,
where can you get tickets? Well, tickets still available?
Tickets still available on munster.ga.ie, so get on that fairly quick. There's just terrace tickets left over now. Our bank tickets stand obviously is first come first served, and they're sold out. Limerick supporters said to have 2 train loads coming down. I believe the team are travelling down by train as well, so there's
2 train loads of Limerick
supporters
fans coming down.
Yeah,
and that's not including obviously all the cars that come down.
Absolutely, not including the cars, so you can just take that into account. The Limerick could outnumber the home fans on Sunday, which is could happen, yeah. But look, hopefully it won't. I'd be urging.
We need people to get out.
People to get out and support.
The players need people to get out there. The management, and there needs to be noise.
Absolutely, yeah.
Needs to be also should the council be putting up flags and making that sea and white, a sea of blue and white up around Welsh Park.
Yeah, you'd imagine, what I mean, that Munster Championship, that you want, it should be at fever pitch, especially when we're playing at home. We talked about it long enough for getting home advantage. The Clare game, it was quite dead. I know they silenced us early with that early goal, but even from talking to people who were there when Waterford came out the tunnel, there wasn't that kind of roar. When they come out, you should be kind of hairs should be standing up in the back of your neck, and you should be looking forward to coming onto the field of a sea and blue and white. I don't think we had that against Clare, but I hope it changes on Sunday, because this is do or die, Waterford's players, management, they don't want to be, having another early exit from the championship. Last year was disappointing. It was well flagged about not having home games. We can't use that as an excuse this year. But just even around, this end of the county up in the Dungarvan side around, it's just very little kind of build up and talk. Now maybe in a way the players could be happy with that. It could be a good thing. They could be coming with a massive performance, a mammoth effort on Sunday, which they have to do. As you said, it's do or die. But
because there might have been too much expectation before the Clare match. We'll talk about the specific tactics, and we'll talk about what's going to happen on the field in a second. Firstly, we're going to play a little clip of Brick Walsh, because there is a possibility Brick is going to start. The team's going to be announced tonight. We'll talk about that and whether he'll fit in or not, whether he will be starting. And this is an interview that you did with Brick and Brendan Cummins last year, was it?
Yeah, I think it was maybe 2 years ago now, January 2018, maybe at the awards night there below the WLR Granville Awards.
Okay, here is the great Brick Welsh.
Yeah, in fairness, I suppose maybe coming into normal time we might have left Kilkenny back into the game, but in fairness, in extra time Waterford really drove on, and I suppose no more than Jamie here beside me, he I suppose really brought it to Kilkenny in that extra period. But it was a great testament to the team, because sometimes when you can lose a lead like that, you can fall back into your shell. But Waterford really drove on in the second half and were worthy winners on the night.
Did you feel going into the dressing room after a normal time that was kind of left behind you, or how did you refocus?
No, look, I suppose it's a new game, and you go out there, like, to be fair to Derek and Dan and the lads, they instilled confidence in the lads. And look, any day you draw, which it was at normal time, you're still in the championship. Any day you're not beaten is a good day, and Waterford really drove on in that extra period.
Michael Brick Walsh, prolific goal scorer. I thought I'd never ever have to say that out loud, but anyway, we have. There it is. Like, you popped up in more areas, looking at your heat map for all the world, in more goal scoring areas than you probably ever had before. Did you feel a responsibility consciously at the start of 17 to say, right, if we're going to win more matches, I need to be in more goal scoring positions? Was there any thought at all, or just naturally happen?
I suppose it's a bit like yourself on the goal, Brendan. You throw a hurley in the way, and you might be lucky enough that it hits you and make it look good at the same time.
He doesn't say very much, but when he does says that he's a great sense of humour, Brick, hasn't he?
I still that's the one thing, from doing the awards the last couple of years, is the one comment that stuck in my head, that the response Brick gives to comments about making it look good when he throws a hurley at it. But that's the kind of character he is, and very interesting article in the paper today, and a lot of talk about during the week that maybe he is that kind of leadership and a guy we maybe need in the team on Sunday. Ball winning ability in the forwards hasn't been good in the first two games. There's no point saying it has been. So could we see him playing a key role on Sunday? He's such a fantastic ambassador.
Do you think he'll start, or do you think he'll possibly?
Yeah, I think he'll start. Yeah, I'd certainly be starting him. Yeah, I think I'd definitely be putting him in the half forward line there. And target the puck outs. Now Limerick have a big half back line too, and Morrissey and Diarmuid Burns, the two wing backs, are two big physical players as well. But I'm sure Brick will be keen to stamp his authority in the game, and I think he's a kind of a player. He brings other players into the game too. That year in 17 he became a prolific scorer because he was kind of floating in behind. But even if he's not scoring, he wins the ball and he throws it around, and I think he could have a big aspect in the game on Sunday. We need to win ball in our forward line. It's particularly the half forward line.
I was just going to say
that Limerick half back line is
phenomenal. Where's the winning of this game? Do you try to bypass that Limerick half back line? Where's the winning of this match?
Well, look, it's going to be hard. Like, first of all, I think Aaron Gillan and the guys inside, we have to contain. There has to be more pressure out the field on the delivery of ball into the forward line, which wasn't there against Tip. I know Conor Gleeson was dismissed, and we've all with that's been well documented, I suppose, how harsh it was. But look, he's going to be back in Sunday. Just have to be disciplined, I suppose, in the tackle and put more pressure out the field. That the work rate and energy just didn't seem to be there in the opening two games. So I just hope that's up on Sunday. We're playing in front of our home fans. We should be kind of we are fighting for our lives, as Pádraig Fanning alluded to after the Tipperary game. So I think midfield is going to that middle third. It'll probably be crowded with bodies. Welsh Park is a tight enough pitch. It'll probably hold Limerick back as well, because they like that diagonal ball into Gillan. You saw them in the league final, pointing their where they want the ball in. So delivery is key from both sides. So we have to close down that middle third area and stop the ball going into the likes of Aaron Gillan and ourselves. We need more from our forwards stemming up front from play, and indeed free taking. Pádraig and Stephen, two good free takers there, but generally from play we need to be chipping in with more scores.
Could see a lot of sideline cuts. Waterford have to play out of their skins. They're playing the All-Ireland champions. They're at home. They have to play out of their skins. They can do it. They can. The minors are going to before. I'm going to
absolutely get in early 12. Best of luck to the minors as well. Very unlucky against Tip. Hard now for the minors because there's only two going through, but mathematically if they won their last two games they still have an outside chance. So gates are open at half time. Get in early and show a bit of support, and let's make this a fortress, what I mean. And it's I'm disappointed maybe the build up and maybe talk. As I said, that could be a good thing, but I just hope the place is rocking on Sunday. We should be aiming to make it that fortress. But as you say, Demi, look, it's going to be edge of the seat stuff. It's do or die. Watford won't want to exit the championship. Without I think it's a 7-game losing streak now. This isn't. Do you know what I mean? Waterford-esque from where we were in the All Ireland final. It's so close to breaking that barrier 2 years ago up there in Croke Park, and now we're kind of fighting to stay in Munster. But look, Limerick, they're going to be dangerous too because they've lost to Cork. But they say Limerick are a wounded animal. What are we going to be like? We'll have to surely just a bit of pride in the jersey on Sunday, and I'm expecting a big performance. Whether it'll be enough to get us over the line, who knows? It's going to be a massive challenge, but I'm sure one of the lads are looking forward to.
Gavin Whelan, as ever, thank you very much.
Thanks, Damien.
Welcome to the Champions League preview special. Where are we? In the red. Give us a big cheer. It's now Wednesday night, or officially Friday morning at 11 o'clock. And we've got a packed show here tonight. And men and women of all ages, young and old, clean-shaven and not so clean-shaven. We're going to have a sing-off at the end of the night, lads. We're going to have to see who's going to be the best supporters.
At least we have our own. Obviously, they're singing out Celtic song, lads.
And we're going to talk. Who will we go with first? We've taken a time cost.
Go with Liverpool, they always win.
Go with Liverpool, they always win, says Ma Welch. Okay. There you go, Ma Welch. Ma Welch, the referee. Joining us on the red side, we've Alan Murphy. How are you, Alan?
Hi, not too bad.
Shane Power, how's it going?
Brilliant, thanks, Damien.
Alan, how excited are you about this Saturday night match?
I don't know whether I'm excited or nervous, to be honest with you. This is the first time now that I've kind of really been thinking about
Quiet,
it.
please, lads, now.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. We're just so used to it now at this stage, you know what I mean?
Oh!
We leave the Spurs fans sing tonight. They're not used to it at all,
and Jurgen Klopp is so used to losing finals.
Yeah, we hear that a bit. But sure.
On a serious note, and let's talk about that for a second, the psychology of that. Klopp has lost 7 finals, right? So what are we talking about? Is he going to do it on Saturday night?
I think he is. I think he's going to win.
Apart from, we're going to go into the tactics, we're going to go into the squad rotation, we're going to go into all those things in a minute, but why do you think that this is going to be the night for Liverpool with Klopp?
I think last year's experience of losing it again, I know that was different in Seville a couple of years ago and whatever, but that whole psychology of what happened with Salah and the injury and all that last year. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to Kiev last year. You know, we're on the incline again. We can kind of feel that, and everything's kind of good. And I'm sorry, just kind of have to detriment when United are on the slide as well. I know that's
United are a team that's gone. Forget about United. You may as well be talking about Scunthorpe.
I know you're bad.
That's not fair on Scunthorpe. You're right there, absolutely.
I think last year was just kind of, if we do well, we'll be happy enough with our lot, like, you know. But this year there's a little bit more expectation. They kind of acquitted themselves quite well in the final last year.
Liverpool are going in as favourites. Is there a little hint of arrogance within Pool fans about this match on Saturday?
Depends on where you look, to be honest with you.
Okay. And we're going to go into that in a minute. Shane, we'll come back to you in a second. Owen Kavanagh, how's it going?
Great.
Owen, you've come in with some lads from Tramore tonight. Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
No bother.
You wouldn't miss it for the world.
Not at all. You know me with a microphone now, deadly.
Let's get serious for a second. Alan's point there that they are favourites, quietly confident.
I wouldn't say quietly confident. Come out to Tramore and listen to them.
Do they think they have it won already?
Sure, Liverpool's a lot of them by.
Why do you think Spurs are going to win this match on Saturday night?
Everyone thinks that we're going to lose the game. We're not under the same pressure Liverpool are under. I just think Liverpool have a lot more to lose than we do. Spurs season, it was going great. We dropped off near the end as usual, but sure, that's how Spurs men were used to that kind of thing. But I just think the whole world is going to get a shock. I personally think we're going to do the job.
How long have you been supporting Spurs, and why have you supported Spurs all your life?
Well, I'm a third generation Spurs fan. Grandfather, father and myself, so I didn't choose it, but I love it.
How special is it? Like, for so many years and so many disappointments, and you can remember Ricky Villa and Ardiles and all those lads.
Well, mad remember all them fellas. I was only, yourself.
Only a child.
I was only a babby.
This is special. This is unbelievable.
It's absolutely...
Like Danny Rose there talking this week, he said no way did he envisage being in a Champions League final.
None of us did, and that's been honest. Even at the group stages when we were to beat Barcelona or get a result against Barcelona, I thought we were gone then. But somehow, somewhere, we got there. I think that Liverpool are really, really underestimating what we can do. You know, look at the 2 games this season that we played. We played Liverpool in Liverpool.
You lost both of them.
Say that again.
You lost both of them 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why are you quoting that?
Why? Because number one, they won the game from a poxy knock-in off. Who was that knock-in?
Yeah, but you still lost.
Yeah, but we were better then. Now
you were better, but then you lost twice.
That's a fact. But third time, we're not going to do that.
They finished ahead of you in the league.
Well, sure, of course they were going ahead of us in the league. The league is the league. This is a one-day game, and when we come up against
Champions
Liverpool,
League.
Exactly, I think we're going to do the job.
You think you're going to do the job?
Absolutely.
Shane Power.
All right, Damien.
Shane Power, how's it going?
Good, Damien, thank you.
Why are you a Liverpool fan?
I have been since about 1984, I think, when I started following him first.
How old were you then?
8 years of age.
Was there a particular moment that just turned the switch on?
I think it was my father following United turned me against them, so I had to follow. Sorry, Dad.
Tell us about the dad.
My dad, yeah, he's a United fan. I had to listen to a bit off and down through the years, but yeah, no, he's a good lad. He's a good lad. But I just chose to follow Liverpool. They were probably successful at the time, like so.
Owen is talking very specific points there, that this idea of going in as favourites will be a burden that Liverpool will have to basically bear. What's
Correct.
your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it will, but I think Liverpool last year, losing the final last year, and then losing the league this year, so like going so well in the league and not winning it. I think, last year, probably facing Real Madrid last year we felt maybe going into it, Jesus, Real Madrid were playing like, but I think it'll drive Liverpool on, kind of. And I know Klopp has the monkey on his back now. He's losing a lot of finals, but I think they're primed. They know from last year they're back in it 12 months later, like so.
That can work either way. If you lose last year, you lose the league this year, and you lose on Saturday night. This fear of losing can become an overwhelming emotion, and Klopp talks about the emotion of football all the time. So it's so important from Liverpool's perspective to win this, because this could set Liverpool back if they do lose this match on Saturday night.
Yeah, no, it could, and I think like the players though that he has, like they all play so much for him. Like he gets so much out of the players. Like the football they played this year was fantastic football. Like that won't change on Saturday night. That's going to be the same. He's the same. Like Liverpool from being there 12 months ago is going to be a huge experience for him. Like it's the same group. Plus he's strengthened it by bringing in a new keeper who's been fantastic this year. Like,
and we're going to go around and talk to the fans about the squad in detail. Alan, why and how long have you been supporting Liverpool?
I couldn't even put a year on it. I'm later than you to it because my family weren't into football or anything like that. It was kind of a De La Salle thing. We just all kind of happened to support Liverpool. I think it was the whole Jim Beglin thing at the time.
A Ballygunner thing, says somebody.
I wasn't posh enough and I wasn't from Ballygunner. But yeah, I think I think Jim Beglin's mother and my grandmother live next door to each other, and you hear all them kind of stories, so it kind of just fell into it.
Tell us about the Liverpool Supporters Club. Tell us about the support that Liverpool has in the city and county.
Look, it's brilliant. It's not a supporters club that we have. What it is just it's a Facebook page that was set up, and it came out of the ashes of Ray Malone had one set up. We've got nearly 2,000 guys on it now. It's just a nice little community that everyone can kind of chat away on, because there is a big one in Dublin that has 20,000 on it. It's very hard to vet that kind of thing. So it's a nice group of lads that are in it, and we just have a good bit of banter on it, whatever. So
I'm going to come back to you in a second, looking for your match winners on the night. Give a round of applause to Ma Welch, everybody. A legend in his own right. How are you, Ma?
I'm okay, Damien. How are you?
Good. Tell us, Ma, about your lifelong supporting of Spurs.
I tell you now, the first time I saw him play was on TV in 1967. They played Chelsea in the cup final, and we beat them. And I followed them ever since. But it's funny, Raymond, will tell you, my brother Shawnee was mad Liverpool. And he started Liverpool supporters in 1977. And he said, join up. But I used to go to London. And I joined up. I used to give him about £2 a week. So we used to go to London. I used to go to Liverpool with the lads. I get the bus from Warford to Dublin, the boat for 9 hours to Liverpool, and the train to London, and do the same journey back. So that's a long time ago now, 1977. And followed him ever since. I saw him in the cup in 81, 82, 87, 91. I saw him playing them for us in the League Cup, Milk Cup, was it? I've seen him play Liverpool in
the old Milk Cup, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Anfield, when he beat Liverpool 7-8, I was there. I was in Ireland, he beat them 4-0. And I was in Anfield, he beat them 1, so. I love going over to the match. I go over tomorrow, yeah, myself and my son. I love going with my son.
So this is going out now on Friday morning, so you'll be over there.
I'll be happy to find on, but don't worry, we'll have the internet and the phones.
You'll have it over there. How are you getting there? Because there's very difficult to actually get there.
When you're far, I suppose you get there, you know what I mean, Nick? Well,
do you have tickets for the match?
Not yet, no, not yet.
Not yet. How are you going to get tickets? Fred was on to me from Wicklow today saying they're giving
they're not
2,000 a ticket.
Is that all? We're flying to Barcelona tomorrow night, my son and myself. We're staying in Barcelona tomorrow night. We have a car hired. We're driving to Madrid. It's only 600 kilometres, no problem. And we got a hotel then.
Are you hopeful of getting a ticket? Have you any contacts over there?
A chance, a chance. 1 in a million, so you take a chance, wouldn't you?
And if not?
I'll watch it somewhere.
Just to be there?
Just to be there, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Because more than likely there'll be thousands of fans there anyway in the same situation.
Yeah, just loads of people have no tickets. I mean, it's crazy money, But we'd pay it if we have to.
Okay, very specific question. Is Kane going to start? And
I say he start with his best team. I think he will, yeah.
If you were the manager, would you start?
Of course I would. Yeah, why
Even
not?
though Moore has been playing great?
I'd play Moore as well. I'd have Dele Alli, Sissoko, Ericsson, Moore, Kane and Son.
Owen, would you start Harry Kane?
No.
No?
No, I wouldn't.
Looking at the Spurs comments about different things and doing a bit of research onto this, it's the thing that's dividing Spurs fans, to start Harry Kane or not.
Yeah. No, I think we'd be better off starting with near enough the same team as Ma said, except I'd have Harry definitely to come on, 100% to come on, without a doubt in the world.
Well, if he's good enough to be on the bench, should he start?
Personally, no. I'd start with Mora.
Alan, the team sort of picks itself for Liverpool. Would you prefer if Harry Kane didn't start?
Not particularly, because if Kane starts and he doesn't play well, then they can bring Moore on as an impact sub. So either way, it's 6 and 1/2 the other, really,
Prediction, give me the score. Shane Power.
I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. Yeah. Alan, give me the score.
I'm going to say 2-0 because I can't see us conceding.
2-0 Liverpool. Can't see him conceding. Owen, Kavanagh, give us the score.
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Mawel, give us the score.
2-1 Spurs, yeah.
2-1 Spurs. What do you reckon, lads? We'll be back. We'll be back after this quick ad break, and there's going to be a lot more. Give us a cheer, lads.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. Blue Club rewards from mulliganspharmacy.com. Spend a little to earn a lot. Every time I think I'm voting, I know you're voting too. There's no doubt you're voting.
Waterford and Ballymacarbry footballer Michelle Ryan is the April winner of the WLR Granville Hotel GAA Award. Michelle scored 3-3 in the Division 2 semi-final win over Cavan and followed that up with 1-1 in the final against Kerry as the Déise earned promotion to the top flight. Michelle enjoyed picking up another piece of national silverware last month.
You definitely get to a stage where you really do embrace the wins and the good days, and maybe more so than you would have when you're starting out in your career.
The WLR Granville GAA Awards, recognising excellence in Gaelic games in Waterford.
So, what's important about your local pharmacy? That they have the best beauty brands at good prices? For sure. But what's really important is that your local pharmacy knows you.
I have just a remedy for that chesty cough.
That your local pharmacist knows you and your family.
Oh, kids get everything. This should do the job.
That your local pharmacy can give you the best advice on your health care.
You should have that vaccination while you're here.
With 17 branches across the southeast, see mulliganspharmacy.com or just call in and say hello.
This bank holiday weekend, you'll find amazing deals at Curry's PC World, like a HP 15-inch laptop with Core i3 processor, 1 terabyte of storage and free printer, just $429.99. Get €100 off the LG 32-inch Smart TV at $249 and save up to €600 on selected Samsung QLED large screen TVs. Save €50 on a Google Home, now €99, and save up to €400 on American-style refrigeration. For these unbeatable deals, go in-store or online at currys.ie. T's and C's apply.
Suckler farmers should be paid to get rid of cows. In this week's Irish Farmers Journal, we reveal what Commissioner Hogan proposes for the future of the suckler industry. Beef prices drop as farmers rush for share of €100 million beef fund. surge in number of non-farmers planting forestry. Plus, don't miss your last chance to enter our amazing competition where you can win an Isuzu D-Max Crew Cab worth €37,000 inside this week's Irish Farmers Journal, on sale now.
All those in favour of great deals on motor insurance, say O.
O'Leary.
For professionally covered home, landlord, business or farm insurance, say O.
O'Leary.
All those in favour of having all your insurance in one place, say O.
O'Leary.
O'Leary Insurance's 96 The Quay, Waterford. One phone call to us and we'll shop around for you using top-rated insurance companies to find great quotes. Phone us on 051 309 130 or call in today.
The O's have it. O'Leary Insurance Group is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Terms and conditions apply.
Day Tripper 2019 is almost here, featuring the RTE Concert Orchestra with Jenny Green on Friday, Gavin James and Hudson Taylor on Saturday, and Madness and the Frank and Walters on the Sunday of the June Bank Holiday weekend. Don't miss out on Waterford's big music weekend of the year, down on the waterside. Get your tickets now at daytripper.ie or 21 off licence The Glen. Day Tripper 2019. One step beyond the rest.
Hi, Kevin Dundon from Dunbrody Country House here. To let you know that Dunbrody's classic afternoon tea is served on our sunny terrace every day. Come cross the river and enjoy a delicious spread of sweet and savoury delights. Afternoon tea at Dunbrody, the perfect way to relax with friends and loved ones. Call 051 389 600 to book.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's pharmacy near you.
Welcome back to the Reg Bar. We've got 3 stalwart Liverpool fans. We're going to be going around to a lot more of the Pool fans. And Matt Keane, take it away, boy.
OK, come Saturday night, what will people say? You cannot beat live football! Yeah, I got the Liverpool end of things, which is great. I've got Stuart Kennedy, who needs no introduction in the world of football, of course. How's everything with you, Stuart?
All good, Matt. Be much better now Saturday night.
Yeah, great stuff indeed. I've got the legend himself, Ray Malone, a Blues legend, and indeed a Liverpool legend.
Cheers, Matt. How you doing?
And I've got the lovely Kelly Higgins with us. How you doing, Kelly?
Not too bad today.
Great stuff indeed. Ray, we start with yourself. First of all, how long have you been going to Liverpool, and how many times have you been in Anfield?
Maybe too long, Matt, but no, look, I've been going there since my uncle is living on the Wirral, Billy Veeney. He's living there 55 years. He moved over there a long time ago. So I was only 6 when I went to my first game there in 1974. And I've been going on and off, I suppose. I was lucky enough for a number of years. I was over there 27, 28 games a season because I was actually getting paid to go over as part of a job at the time, so that kind of helped get up a lot of games. But the last game there against Wolves was number 631 altogether. That's incredible. That's just at home. And
absolutely incredible, yeah. Now, I've spoken to you on numerous occasions. You thought Istanbul there was incredible. But the semi-final this year beat even that, you said.
Matt, it was incredible. More so, right, Istanbul, you're 3-0 down, but you have 45 minutes. You have a little chance if you get an early goal. So you're thinking. And it's AC Milan, who were a good side, but they still weren't the best team in the world at the time. Whereas you're playing Barcelona there a few weeks ago. You're 3-0 down. You're going over there more in hope than that, really. You're hoping, look, get an early goal, which we did. Then you're thinking, OK, keep this till half-time, maybe get an early one the second half, and you might have a little peep then, a little chance of doing it. So suddenly you get 2 goals in 3 minutes from a substitute with Wijnaldum coming on, who he was furious he wasn't starting in the first place. So poor Andy Robertson got injured. We were thinking, oh no, Robbo gone off, this is going to be a nightmare. Wijnaldum comes on, scores twice in a couple of minutes. Suddenly it's 3-0. I'm sitting next to the press box, actually. It was my European seat. It's a really good seat. And I turned to the fella next to me and just said, we have a little chance here, as we got the corner. So I was talking away to him. I never even saw the ball hitting the net. I just heard the roar going up and I had no idea how the ball had gone in there. So it got to 4-0, and then you're just thinking, this is just crazy. Then you're more nervous because you're thinking, can we hang on here now? Or what are we going to do? Are we going to try to defend? Are we going to try and get a fifth? So lucky enough, he put up 5 minutes injury time, and we saw it out. And I have to say, atmosphere-wise and that, I thought that was Istanbul was fantastic, but the noise levels in that ground there a couple of weeks ago was just incredible. I've never heard that like.
And then, of course, Spurs pulled off their own miracle against Ajax. How did you feel that the next day when this unfolded?
Look, you have to hats off the Spurs. I mean, in fairness, they're in the same situation. They were given no chance, especially when, they're 2-0 down on the night during the game. So I was looking at it and I was saying, who would you want to play? And I was looking and I was saying, well, look, Ajax looked like a decent team. But then, Spurs scored a goal to get back into it. On the night, I have to say, after the match, when I'm after seeing the Spurs after winning, I was thinking to myself, there's none of these two teams going to beat Liverpool. Now, that's not being cocky. I was just looking at them defensively, both teams, and I just thought, my God, I don't care who we play in the final. And I really meant that, and I still mean it now. I still think I've no fear whatsoever playing Spurs.
Kelly Higgins, lovely to meet you. When did you start following Liverpool Football Club?
I couldn't put a year on it now because it's been so long. It's literally for as long as I can remember, because it goes back generations in my family, so I couldn't put a year to it, but for as long as I remember.
And when you say your family, then your parents and brothers and sisters and so on?
Brothers, dad, granddad, so far so forth, all of them.
No regrets. You looking forward to Saturday night?
No, I'm petrified.
Kelly, are Liverpool going to lift this famous trophy, do you think, on Saturday night?
I hope so, because my partner down the back there now is Spurs, and I think I might be single if we lose.
Oh my God! What's your partner's name, Kelly?
David.
David. Oh, David. Hey. There could be a broken romance come Sunday morning, will it?
Oh, he'll be gone if they win.
I like it. Moving quickly along. Stuart Kennedy. Great to see you, Stuart. Stalwart Tramore AFC man, of course, and now referee. How long have you been supporting the Reds?
Going back to the early 70s, Matt. I was probably 4 or 5. The first game that I can remember was sort of in the mid 70s, but really from 77 onwards is when my real memory started with the team that I just love.
Some incredible players have played for Liverpool Football Club down through the years. If I was to ask you, name your favourite 3, just for curiosity, what would you say?
I'm going to start with a strange one, actually, because he's a gentleman, and my parents met him down in Rosslare years ago. It was Ray Clements. And I won't say I had a career.
Yes, said he's a Spurs man.
I have no issues, lads. Quality transcends all clubs, and he was quality. But he was a gentleman as well, because my parents met him in Rosslare. He wasn't there; he was away on English duty. His wife came over, knew I was a Liverpool fan. 2 weeks later, I got signed autographs in the post from himself, Kenny Dalglish. They had contacted Kevin Keegan. He got me across, and that was stuff. This was before all the internet and everything else, and that was a genuine person doing that. And I said I wasn't a good goalkeeper, but that was my position. He was my hero. And I got to say, if no matter who plays for Liverpool, he will always be up there.
Your second favourite then?
So many to choose from. I feel sorry for the Spurs fans out there when they can only pick from a handful. we just have so many, Matt. Which era do you want? Look, you can't go beyond King Kenny.
King Kenny.
You can't look beyond them. And I think, if you look at the current squad, I think some of those guys are going to go on to become legends. And I think Robertson is a player. What I love in football, I don't always love it. The flair players are great, but it's the guys who will go out there and give you a shift every day. But they have a bit of quality with them as well. And I just think of the current squad, yes, they have got the highlighters and all the rest. But for me, Robbo at the back is going to go on to be a legend for the club. And I'm looking forward to seeing him develop over the next number of years.
Brilliant stuff indeed. Kelly, I'll go back to you again. Who's going to be happy on Sunday morning? Will you be together? Is this going to be a broken romance? Have we started something here?
I'll have a home to go to, that's all.
Just wrapping up then, establish yourself, Kelly. Why do you think Liverpool will win on Saturday night?
I think the event might get to Spurs a little bit like it got to us last year, so I think that might go to our favour, but that's the only difference because it's always been a tight match between Spurs and Liverpool.
Ray Malone, why will Liverpool lift the pot on?
I think simply because defensively we're not conceding goals, so that means Spurs can't score, and also our forward line are after scoring more goals than any other three in the league, so I think we're going to win comfortably.
Stuart Kennedy, why will Liverpool win on Saturday?
I think Damien alluded earlier to the fear of losing and the repercussions of losing, and I have to say anybody wearing a red shirt going onto that pitch on Saturday, the way Klopp has him set up, does not have that fear. It's the fans who have it. There's no fear, and it's fear that loses games. That team are ready for this.
Let's hear it for Kelly. Let's hear it for Ray. Let's hear it for Stuart Kennedy.
It's a whole new conversation. Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
With thanks to Mulligan's Pharmacy. Over 60 years together. Thanks to you.
We all need to mind our mental health. YourMentalHealth.ie is a space to find information on mental health, how to care for it, and where to find supports and services for you or for people you know. And because it's online, you can visit anytime. YourMentalHealth.ie. Information, support, services from the HSE.
For quality carpets in Waterford, Michael Crowe Johnstown. For kitchen vinyls and flooring, Michael Crowe Johnstown. For Waterford's biggest selection of beds and mattresses, Michael Crowe Johnstown. This is Gary Crowe, inviting you to visit us at our Johnstown showroom. Bedding specials include O'Dearest mattresses from just €299. We always deliver free. Michael Crowe Johnstown, your local carpet and bed store for over 40 years. It will pay you to find me.
My name is Donna Roach and I'm the General Manager of the Mater Private in Cork. I love my job. I've been in healthcare for over 40 years. Mater Private Cork offers a bespoke patient experience. We're constantly looking at our service and trying to improve the patient experience. I think a patient should ask a GP about Mater Private Cork because it's a new choice and sometimes people may not be aware of all the services that are available here. So it's a good idea to say, can I get that at Mater Private Cork?
Mater Private Cork. Choose well.
Calling WLR-FM listeners. I think it's time for you to go. To Cork City, that is, with Dublin Coach. Otherwise known as the Green Bus. Dublin Coach leaves an amazing 9 times daily from Merchants Quay in Waterford, WIT, and from Davids Quay in Dungarvan. Dublin Coach. Cork City right on your doorstep, 9 times a day. We also accept the free travel pass, so no excuses. Get the gang together and have a great day out at a time that suits you. Book online at dublincoach.ie.
For 192, discover why Hyundai has so many bestsellers. The i10 is Ireland's best-selling small city car. The Kona is Ireland's best-selling compact SUV. The Kona Electric is Ireland's best-selling electric car. And the Hyundai Tucson is Ireland's best-selling car for the last 3 years. Hyundai. Discover why.
At Boland's Hyundai, Cork Road, Waterford. Call 051 872 122.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's Pharmacy near you.
Welcome back to the Reg. We're here now on Wednesday night, a.k.a. Friday morning. Who do we have here now?
It's David Jackman.
David Jackman, boyfriend of Kelly.
Yeah, that's it for my sins.
Just before the ad break, we heard there you have offers of beds to stay in if things don't work out on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's between that and the doghouse, I'd say, if we win. So, yeah.
Did you know she was a big Liverpool fan when you met her first?
She doesn't hide it very well, to be honest. Anyone that knows Kelly knows that she's Liverpool through and through. Which I didn't realise she was just as much of a Liverpool fan as she is. I've a photo on my phone of the results of the first match that we watched together, and it was Liverpool went 3-0 up against Bournemouth, and it finished 3-3 thanks to young Ryan Fraser. I think she's in the fetal position on the rug, cuddling into the dog.
How long are you going out?
We're together about 3 years now, so yeah.
Are you planning anything there now?
Nothing. Nothing for this weekend anyway, that's for certain.
And who do we have beside Michael?
Michael, yes, that's right.
Michael, tell us a little about yourself and about your love affair with Spurs.
Oh, my love affair. Probably showing my age now. I can go back to 1961 FA Cup final.
Wow.
That was even before RTE television. That television, as it was called then, hadn't come into being even. So I remember, you wouldn't see football on television then. And I lived in Tramore. There was probably only about 5 or 6 houses had televisions. But luckily enough, we lived on the old Waterford Road, and there was a neighbour of ours, God be good to Mr. and Mrs. Power. They had a television, and in good weather they could get in the BBC. They had this aerial on the roof. The aerial was probably nearly as big as a goalpost. But I remember before...
4-1 to Chelsea.
I remember the Wednesday before the FA Cup final, my father asked me, would I go down and ask Mrs. Power, would it be all right if we went down Saturday to watch the Cup final? So that was secured. So we went down on Saturday to watch the 1961 FA Cup final, Spurs and Leicester. There was 100,000 people, Damien, in Wembley that day. But I felt there was about 100,000 people in Mrs. Power's living room. It was absolute. There was guys kneeling on the windowsill outside, peering in the window. The front door was left wide open, and there was guys craning their necks, looking in just to get a glimpse of it, because that was the only way we would know what was going on. But all the children were brought around to the front, and I had the best seat in the house. We were sitting on the floor, right in front of the television. And I thought the team in those white shorts pushing the ball around, I thought it was magic. Bill Nicholson was the manager of Spurs, and they were known as the push and run side. They had actually won the double that year. So I left there, and I was a Spurs fan. I was just hooked. I went down the road to watch a match, but I came back a Spurs fan for life.
Isn't that lovely? And you are the voice of the RSC.
Yeah.
And you love football.
Oh, I love football, yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Absolutely love it, yeah.
How excited or how do you feel about Saturday night?
It's a wonderful occasion for Spurs. I think Spurs since Pochettino came in, Spurs are making fabulous strides. They have a state-of-the-art training ground. They have a wonderful stadium now. They finished 4th, qualified for the Champions League, 4 out of the 5 last seasons. Minding in fact that we had no home ground for the past 2 years. We've been renting Wembley.
You haven't bought a player
Milton
since
Keynes.
You bought Moore in January last year.
And we haven't bought a player for 2 years. So it's incredible. So whatever happens Saturday night, it's still progression for Spurs. They're moving forward, going in the right direction. And with the money that's going to be generated from the new stadium now, we just have one more step to go, and we're going to do that step.
Who do we have here?
Steph.
Tell us about yourself and your love affair with Spurs, Steph.
Well, grew up in a Liverpool household, and I was a renegade because I ended up supporting the Spurs. I suppose it was the Huddle and Waddle era in the mid '80s. That was them white shorts. Like you said there a minute ago, there was no real live football on telly, so even the likes of the news or Match of the Day at the time.
The big match.
Yeah, the big match, yeah.
Saturday afternoon,
Brian Moore,
yeah.
And then in the late 80s, actually RTE had television, had this live football on 3 o'clock on a Saturday, whereas even in England, even to nowadays, you still can't get a 3 o'clock game. But RTE used to have it, but it was really the Huddle and Waddle era, that Clive Allen, and even the little clips on the news when you used to see that white jersey with Holson on it, and that was me, hooked.
Tell us about the Spurs supporters club, or the kind of community that you have around Waterford.
Yeah, it's a good group of lads out in Tramore, actually. They've all travelled over with me many a times. We used to get the bus and boat over, actually. 12 hours over, 12 hours there, and 12 hours back. And then back and work for lunchtime on a Sunday. But yeah.
And we've got lads down, we'll be talking to them in a minute now. We've lads down from Lemmy Bryan, from Crotties. It's going to be special. Can I ask you very specifically, what's going to be the winning for this match on Saturday for Spurs?
I just think a bit of pace up front. I know all the Liverpool fans reckon that they're not conceding goals and all that, but when you look at all our Champions League games this year, we pulled it out of the bag when it's needed. Players like Son and Moura with that bit of pace up front, I really reckon we can score against him, you know what I mean?
Would you start Kane?
If he starts Kane, I think he has to play Moura too. You can't really. You demoralise the man if you substitute him now after that performance in the second leg against Ajax. So I reckon if Pochettino's really bold, I think he'd play them all. He'd play Eriksen in with Sissoko in midfield maybe and really, really go for it. I think that you have to get out of the blocks early against Liverpool. I was at a game a couple of years ago and, geez, Liverpool press us so hard that day. There's often the saying in football, you couldn't get out of your own half. That particular match, we couldn't get out of our own 18-yard box. If we can beat the press, that's what it's all about.
Michael, for somebody like Sissoko, who was relegated with Newcastle a couple of years ago with Wijnaldum, to be a Champions League winning recipient on Saturday night will be some phenomenal achievement for the likes of Pochettino and his coaching methods and what he's done.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the 5 years Pochettino's been there has been incredible. The players love him. There's no doubt about that. They do anything for him. They buy into his philosophy. Since Pochettino came to Spurs, the transformation has been incredible.
Kane, yes or no?
It's hard. Sitting here in Waterford, it's impossible to say because I don't know how he's training. I think if he's sharp and he is really at it, I think he will play. I will say Harry has had maybe 3 ankle injuries this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I felt each time he's come back, he needed a couple of games to get back to where he was. That's my take on it. And I certainly wouldn't leave Moura out. I'd agree with Sepp. You couldn't leave Moura out, you know.
Harry Kane, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Oh.
No, I think watching Tottenham this season, Harry Kane, when he first got injured in around Christmas time, we just played so much better. We won just about every game without him until he came back. Moura decides to turn up. I think as well, when Harry Kane plays, you know, if you're an opposition fan or an opposition team, you know exactly how Tottenham are going to play. Everything goes through him and everything is slow. With Harry Kane starting on the bench, there's going to be a whole lot more movement up top when you've got the likes of Ali, Son and Lucas Moura with Eriksen and Sissoko in behind. Yep, I would be more than happy to have him come on 65, 70 minutes if we're looking for a goal at that point, maybe even a bit later.
Where are yourself and Kelly going to be watching the match?
This
is a serious question now. Listen up now. Here,
we discuss separate rooms, separate houses, separate counties. But no, we said, of course, we'd have to watch it together. Flipped a coin on it and I lost. So hopefully it's the last time I lose when it comes to this game. So I'll be with in amongst the Liverpool supporters.
Where?
We'll be in Oscar's pub later on. I'll be undercover. And surrounded.
You'll be wearing your jersey with pride.
I've been told not to wear my jersey, but I'd be hard pressed to not have it on me.
Lads, give the lads a big round of applause. Give the lads a big round of applause.
May is live at the Marquee Month on WLR. Every show, every day in May, €10,000 worth of tickets to Live at the Marquee in Cork must be won. Only on WLR. Be there for great acts like David Gray, Hall & Oates, Toto, Nathan Carter, The Academic, and 80s superstars Bros. We are the station that brings you the music you want to hear. Win tickets to Live at the Marquee all May long on WLR.
Join an audience with adventurer Sarah Houghton and Neil Oliver, the presenter of the BBC series Coast. Journey the wilds of Africa with Lorato Mogolethe. Hear travel tales from Turkey, the Balkans and Australia with Dr. Robin Rowland. And enjoy Journeys with Music with Daydanan founder Charlie Piggott at the Imrama Festival of Travel Writing in Lismore this June 12th to 16th. Don't miss Family Fun Sunday and Lismore Castle Farmers Market. For tickets, see lismoreimrama.com.
So, what's important about your local pharmacy? That they have the best beauty brands at good prices? For sure. But what's really important is that your local pharmacy knows you.
That sore throat is going. This should help.
That your local pharmacist knows you and your family.
It hurts!
I'd say it's a sprain. This strapping and this lollipop will sort it out.
That your local pharmacy can give you the best advice on your healthcare.
It's very hot in Spain. You'd want factor 50, and this works well in the water too.
With 17 branches across the southeast, see mulliganspharmacy.com or just call in and say hello.
Heading to or home from work? We all want to get home to our families safe and sound. LCE are a leading provider of health and safety consultancy and training in Ireland, and we are based in Waterford. For practical and professional workplace safety advice and training, think LCE. Visit lce.ie or call 051 364 344.
Celebrate the bank holiday with Centra. We have great offers in store, like Centra Party Food Selected Range, half price now €2. Centra Barbecue Meats Range, any 3 for €10. And our mega deal until Sunday, Santa Rita 120 wine, 2 for €15. Centra, live every day. Enjoy cost sensibly.
Start your story at Woodies this bank holiday with Johnston's Paint. Save €10 on Johnston's 10-litre masonry colours, now only €40. And 2.5-litre standard interior colours, only €17. Plus, you could win a new Fiat 500 worth over €15,000. Enter the draw on woodies.ie. Woodies, we're all homemakers. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Déise Today with Damien Tiernan on WLR.
Thanks to Mulligan's. With 17 stores across the southeast, there's a Mulligan's pharmacy near you.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We're here now on the Reg Special Champions League night. Matt Keane, you're going to take the floor, and you've got some really interesting people to talk to.
Just heard an incredible story there. I'm going over here now, across the floor to Dave Morrissey from the west of Waterford, Dungarvan Abbey side. Dave, tell me what exactly happened.
We had booked flights to Los Angeles for the 1st of June. We booked them back in December when it didn't even look like Spurs were getting through. And then when we got through the semi-final, I had a chat with my darling wife. And I have changed my flight. I'm now flying on Friday. She's still flying on Saturday with the 2 stepdads.
And does she have a problem with this?
No problem at all. She knows how much I'm into Spurs. She knows I'm following them with 40-odd years. She knows that your colleague Sean Organ is to blame for most of this. Yeah, she was absolutely fine with it. She said, it's basically, look, I'm working in the courthouse, so the way we're looking at it is the price of changing the flights is cheaper than the price of divorce. So
I was going to say that you'd be on the other side of the court if things had to go belly up.
Yeah, well, you know, it's done, it's dusted.
But that is really true devotion and love of Spurs, isn't it?
I thought it was true devotion of her to me, but you know, that's fair enough. Yeah, no, I'm following this crowd with way too long. Like, I'm petrified about Saturday night, like, so we'll see how it goes. And like, Liverpool fans are all about it. As the boys have said earlier on, we have nothing to lose. But like, I didn't think I'd ever hear of Spurs in the Champions League, never mind Spurs in the Champions League final. So that's where we are.
Brilliant. Your friend here, you're from Dungarvan yourself?
Yes, Ballon Road.
Ballon Road. Okay. Congratulations on promotion into the Premier League. Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let's hear for Ballon Road, promoted into the Premier League. First time ever. St. Lawrence's Park, is it?
Yes, St. Lawrence Park, yes. Maurice Tobin's the manager, and they've done a great season. They've done really well.
I'm going to ask you a question now. We're talking about tactics, who's going to play and who's... If you could put a Liverpool player on the Spurs team, who would it be?
None of them. Absolutely none of them.
It seemed like a good idea asking the first bit.
No, none of them. At the end of the day, it's Liverpool's game to lose. We've got nothing to lose. We're going to go out there, we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to come home winners.
I'm going over to another Spurs supporter here. How you doing? What's your name?
My name's Clint.
Clint, I'm going to ask you the same question. Would you pick one?
Salah, because he's just world class, like. But I think Harry Kane overshadowed in the final.
And no, we spoke about it ad nauseum. Do you think he's going to play?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. How can you not play your best player?
If you woke up on Sunday morning and you knew Spurs were the European Championships, what would that mean to you, Clint?
Once in a lifetime opportunity. This is once in my lifetime, so we might never see it again. So just to be the pinnacle of any Spurs supporter.
Let's hear it for Clint and all the guys here. We've got Walty Kennedy here. Walty Kennedy, a Liverpool supporter. How you doing, Walty?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
Supported the club all your life?
Yeah. I think with Saturday and Spurs, we're not underestimating Spurs at all. So for them to say like that, we were taking them lightly, no way whatsoever. They're one of the best teams in the Premier League. But I think our own belief in ourselves comes across as being cocky. But it's not. It's our belief in our own players, and we will definitely win on Saturday.
What's your buddy's name here?
Jason.
Jason, how are you doing, Jason? How are you going to do on Saturday?
Well, definitely think we're going to win it. My father might disagree. He's a Spurs fan. Has been all his life. So.
Oh, your dad, is he? Yeah.
He's a Spurs fan. So. Yeah, but I've been following Liverpool for about 30 years, so kind of used to finals and stuff like that. So it's great to see a team like Spurs get in and at least be there anyway. But I don't think they have a chance.
If you woke up on Sunday morning and Spurs had won, surely you wouldn't begrudge Spurs a victory.
No, I wouldn't. It'd be great for my father because again, Spurs don't win much, so be great. Be great for him, but again, I can't see it happening. They're not underdogs for a reason. I'll be honest with you. Of the two teams, I would have preferred Ajax in the final, simply because both teams shouldn't be in the final. They both come back from games that they shouldn't have come back from. And I said it at the time, Spurs were going to be a tougher team. As much as Spurs would say, they wouldn't have, wouldn't have Liverpool players on it. Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, Firmino, Mane. They'd get into any Spurs team above some of the players on the Spurs side.
Great stuff indeed. Let's hear it, lads, for all the supporters. Fantastic.
We have a Polish fan here. What's your name?
Michael.
Show his head. Michael, where are you living?
Waterford.
Tell us about your love of Liverpool.
It's a long story because I follow this club around 20 years.
How are you going to win this match? How are you going to defeat the 4-2-3-1? Is your 4-3-3 going to beat them?
Everyone said we beat them, but I can say we destroy them. Okay.
Who have we got here?
So most people know me as Keith the DJ.
Where's the winning of this match going to be for Liverpool? Is it going to be set pieces? Going to be aerial dominance? Where is it going to be on Saturday?
You don't play Kane, you have three strikers. You know what I mean? It's a game that we're all from across the pond.
So you prefer to see Kane playing?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
We're going to go up now to the lads from Lemmy Bryan. The lads from Lemmy Bryan. Colin D, who do we have here?
We've Colin D here. We've Dylan Hogan, Dylan Parrish, nephew, Dilly Barry, Josh, Lee, my sons, and let's remind about the pubs in Waterford. Crotty's in Lemmy Bryan is a place to be on Saturday.
Fair play to you for coming down tonight. Why is there this connection?
My oldest son, he's Liverpool.
Who's Spurs?
Sorry, he's Spurs. Josh is Liverpool. My nephew is Spurs. Dylan, he's Spurs, he's my best friend's son, and Dylan, my best buddy, he's Liverpool.
And how did it happen? How did it happen that there was such a disparity and such a dislocation between the whole lot of them?
Because when we were all Liverpool, they didn't want to join the gang, so they thought they're not united because no one likes them, so who'll be second best? So then they went to Spurs. The banter where we'll be drinking is just will be great. We'll enjoy the game. Half an hour afterwards, the banter afterwards will be just mighty. So that's our main thing about it. It's just the banter of the match will be just deadly.
I think going into the game anyway, that coming from a Spurs background, we've nothing to lose going into the game. Liverpool been there, they've done that, they've tried their best all along, couple of years, they have Champions League titles, it's their first time there. We were wrote off earlier on. They said we wouldn't get through knockouts. They said we wouldn't beat City. We did. They said we wouldn't beat Ajax. We did. So we're here. We've nothing to lose. We're going to give it our best shot.
Give them a round of applause, everybody. Everybody in Crotties. Hope you have a great night. And I'm going to talk to this couple here. Who do we have here?
Peter Atkins.
And?
Vivian Roach.
Well, tell us about your love for Liverpool.
I'm an Everton supporter.
Did you know he was Everton when you met him first?
Yes.
And did it cause any problems?
Well, there's 3 hours of my life I'll never get back. That's when we went to Goodison to a match. Never again.
Tell us about Liverpool. Tell us about the love for Liverpool.
I've supported Liverpool since I was about 8, even though my father and my brother both supported United.
Why did you support Liverpool at the start?
I think I just fell in love with Kenny Dalglish. As you can see from my jersey, I have King Kenny on the back. And it's always been the same, and I've stuck with it through and through. And my son is the same, and my daughter, and my other daughter.
Who have we got here, gentlemen?
David Veal.
And?
My brother, Mick Veal.
Tell us about your love for Spurs.
Well, I was educated by my eldest brother. I'm the run to the litter. 1973 against Norwich in the League Cup final. That was the first time I saw a televised game. And because Mick supported Spurs, I just said, oh, Jesus, like Martin Chivers. You know.
Brought a programme.
Yeah. So that's how long I'm supporting Spurs.
Supporting them since 1967. Jimmy Greaves is my reason, and it's a hard stint following Spurs at times, but we're at it now, and we've done a lot to get there. Everything says, all logic says Liverpool, but I think we can. I still think we're going to do it.
Harry Kane, yes or no?
Impact sub, definitely.
Impact sub, I think it'll be a close game. I reckon Liverpool will start well. The longer the game goes on and Spurs are pressing, the more the pressure will tell on Liverpool, and I think Spurs will win it.
We're going to close off the programme now in a second, and what we're going to do is we want to get Liverpool fans, please, to be singing a certain song. We're going to get the Spurs fan to be singing a certain song, okay? Okay, Liverpool fans, can we stand up, please? All the Liverpool fans stand up.
We've a better version.
Okay, here we go. Owen Kavanagh and the Spurs fans here in Waterford City and County. Take it out, lads.
Ajax, I'll tell you what it is. But don't put it back.